Hello and welcome. Today, we have a special story for you, my first day at work. If you are learning English, this story will help you practice common phrases and vocabulary for everyday life. Let's start the day together. The night before my first day at college, I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing with excitement, fear, and everything in between. It felt like the beginning of something huge, something I'd been dreaming about for years. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining every possible scenario. Would I make friends? Would the professors be intimidating? Would I fit in? All these questions swirled in my head, making it impossible to relax. Finally, after what felt like hours, I dozed off, only to be jolted awake by the loud buzz of my alarm clock. The morning of my first day had arrived, and the nerves hit me as soon as I opened my eyes. The alarm clock rang loudly, cutting through the stillness of the room. I reached out and quickly turned it off, but my heart was already racing. Today was the day I'd been waiting for, but also the day I feared, the start of a new chapter in my life. I took a few moments to gather myself, trying to shake off the butterflies in my stomach. I got out of bed and walked to the window. It was a bright, sunny morning, the kind that promises new beginnings. The sky was clear, and a soft breeze made the leaves outside rustle gently. I smiled at the thought of everything that lay ahead. Today wasn't just another day. It was my first day at college. I headed to the bathroom to get ready. The cold splash of water on my face woke me up instantly. It was refreshing and helped calm my nerves, just a little. After brushing my teeth and washing up, I took one last look in the mirror. My face seemed to reflect my excitement and anxiety all at once. This was real now. I opened my closet and started picking out my outfit. I wanted to look good, but I also wanted to feel comfortable. I settled on a pair of jeans and a nice shirt I'd been saving for this special day. After putting it on, I glanced at myself in the mirror once more. I looked ready to face the world, ready for this big step. Grabbing my backpack, I checked inside. Notebooks, pens, a folder with my schedule. Everything was in place. Then I looked at the time. Uh-oh, I was running late. I grabbed my coat, threw on my shoes, and rushed out the door. As I made my way to the bus stop, I took a deep breath. Excitement and anxiety swirled inside me. This was the beginning of something huge. My future was waiting, and I was about to take the first step toward it. The bus ride to college felt longer than I remembered. I kept looking out the window, watching the city pass by, but my mind was far away, imagining what my first day would be like. What if I didn't fit in? What if I got lost on campus? My thoughts raced, and I couldn't help feeling a little nervous. The excitement from the morning had turned into a mixture of uncertainty and anticipation. Finally, the bus pulled up to the college. I stepped off and was instantly overwhelmed. The campus was so much bigger than I had imagined. Students were everywhere. Some walking in groups, chatting and laughing, while others walked alone with headphones in, lost in their thoughts. The buildings were tall and modern, with large glass windows that reflected the bright sunlight. It felt like I was standing in the middle of a busy city. Everyone around me seemed to know exactly where they were going. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves, and pulled out the campus map I had grabbed from the orientation packet. I quickly scanned it to find the building where my first class was held. Spotting it, I started walking, trying not to look too lost or too obvious that I was new here. As I walked through the campus, I noticed how alive it felt. The sounds of footsteps, voices, and occasional laughter filled the air. I passed groups of students sitting on benches, reading books, or talking about their classes. There was a feeling of freedom here that I had never felt before. Everyone seemed to be figuring things out just like me. After a few minutes, I reached the building for my first class. It was a large gray structure with tall glass doors. I pushed them open, and the cool air inside hit me. The sound of murmurs filled the hallway as students moved around, searching for their classrooms. I pulled out my schedule again to check the room number, room 207. Following the signs down the hallway, my heart pounded a little faster with every step. This was it. I was here. I stopped in front of the door, took a deep breath, and slowly opened it. The classroom was quiet, and all eyes turned toward me for a moment. I could feel my face flush with nervousness, but I quickly spotted an empty seat and headed toward it. Sitting down, I adjusted my backpack and tried to focus on the professor, who was already speaking. The class began, and I tried to concentrate on what was being said, but my mind was still buzzing with excitement. This was college. My dream was finally coming true. I glanced around the room, noticing how much more at ease everyone else seemed. Some students were taking notes diligently, while others were already chatting about assignments and projects. I reminded myself that they had probably been here longer, and I was just getting started. The lecture went by in a blur. The professor discussed course expectations, the syllabus, and the assignments we would be working on throughout the semester. Some of it felt overwhelming, but I made a mental note to review the syllabus later. I couldn't afford to fall behind. As class ended, everyone started gathering their things and heading out. I followed them, unsure of where to go next. The hallways were crowded, and I felt like I was moving in slow motion compared to everyone else, who seemed to know exactly where they were going. I checked my schedule again. My next class was in another building across campus. Taking a deep breath, I headed outside, trying to find my bearings. The weather was nice, and the campus was full of students chatting and walking between classes. I saw a few people sitting on benches enjoying the sun, while others were heading toward the library or the student union. I walked quickly, but tried to take it all in, knowing that this was the start of something big. When I finally reached the next building, I was relieved to see I wasn't the only one running a little late. Some students were still arriving, looking around for the right room. I took a moment to calm myself and adjusted my backpack before walking inside. This classroom was much smaller, and the students seemed more relaxed. I found a seat toward the back just as the professor began to speak. This time I felt more comfortable. I took notes and followed along more easily. The professor explained the course material in a way that made sense, and I found myself becoming interested in the subject. As the class ended, I chatted with a couple of students nearby. They introduced themselves, and we talked briefly about our majors and how we were adjusting to college life. It was nice to know I wasn't the only one feeling a little lost. I started to realize that maybe it was okay to be new here. We were all learning together. The bell rang, signaling the end of my second class. As I packed up my things, I felt a sense of accomplishment. My first day at college was over, and somehow I'd survived it. I was exhausted, but there was a deep satisfaction in knowing I'd taken the first step toward my future. The nerves that had gripped me that morning had settled into a quiet excitement. The uncertainty I'd felt earlier was slowly being replaced by a sense of possibility. As I walked out of the classroom and headed toward the exit, I couldn't help but think about all the new people I'd met and all the things I'd learned. Sure, there were moments of awkwardness, and I didn't know where I was going half the time. But that's part of the journey, right? It's all new, and it's all a learning experience. I'd already started to make some connections, and I was sure there were many more to come. I stepped out onto the campus, and the sun was starting to set. The day felt like a blur, but in a good way. I took a deep breath of fresh air and felt proud of what I'd accomplished. This was just the beginning, and the adventure was only going to get more exciting from here. I walked to the bus stop, my mind racing with thoughts of what tomorrow would bring. What would my next classes be like? Would I meet more friends? What would I learn next? The possibilities felt endless, but for now I was content. Today had been a good day. As I got on the bus and found a seat, I smiled to myself. I was ready for whatever came next. And that's the story of my first day at college. If you're about to start your own journey, remember that everyone feels a little nervous at first. It's completely normal. Take your time to adjust, make new friends, and embrace the experience. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And if you're a fellow student just starting your college journey, share your experiences with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear how your first day went. Let's continue to learn and grow together. See you next time!